Howdy, Friendly City. Your City Manager, Seth Sumner here with your weekly Friendly City update. It is the week ending in May 22nd, and I have with me today Public Works Director Ben Burchfield. And of course, when we were doing the daily updates, Ben was on to tell us about Public Works and how they were continuing to work with mission-critical items throughout the pandemic. We're, of course, still in the COVID-19 pandemic, but I know a lot of folks are anxious to really get back to some level of normalcy during this time. And we're real excited to come to you today with information about our paving program. Now, as Ben is acutely aware as he manages our program, that the City of Athens, a number of years ago, the City Council set dollars aside, and we do so annually to be able to go and repave city streets. We're very fortunate here in the City of Athens as we have a lot of state routes that come through our community, and we've had a very good time in the last 3 years with a lot of those roadways being repaved. And I know for the last 3 years we've been working on one small section of that with Highway 30, and that now is nearing completion, and it is open and being utilized. And we're very thankful that TDOT has made that investment in our roadways and our community, and we're thankful to have that portion open. So outside of those state routes, the City of Athens concentrates on our urban streets, where we're doing a lot of resurfacing. Sometimes we have to do milling. We've got to cut some of those sections out and do repaving. And so it really does take a lot of staff hours to be able to develop these programs and then work with contractors on actually repaving. So the money that is set aside by the City Council every year usually ends up being utilized every 2 years. We pull that money together, and sometimes I know we work with the county when they're doing paving so we can get better prices working with contractors and get a lot of paving done in our community all at one time. This year is different though. Ben's been really hard at work, as our other staff with streets and in Public Works has been diligent, and we're doing 2 rounds of paving this year. So we did our first round of paving about September or October of this fiscal year. And Ben, would you mind talking a little bit more about that first round of paving before we get into the second round that we're looking at in the next few days?
Right, so we did, as Seth mentioned, that last round back at the end of September and really October, early October, that ultimately got about 7.5 miles of city streets is what we did on that first round. And we had actually come in pretty well under budget on that, $1.5 million worth of paving, and saved a few $100,000, which we are now rolling into this segment of paving that we're going to be doing here in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, overall very pleased, and our folks have of course put a lot of really hard work in to kind of prepare some of these streets ahead of, as Seth said, these contractors that we have come in to do these large projects like this, and just really happy to be able to get a lot of miles done, and then hopefully even, you know, looking forward to possibly early 2021. We'll hopefully have our state transportation block grant paving, which is about another $1 million worth there too. So,
one of the biggest requests that we have from citizens has to do with street paving. These streets go through our neighborhoods, our residential neighborhoods. They connect our commercial areas and our industrial areas. And I know there's a lot of work going on Denso Drive right now, with the McMinn Higher Education Center being constructed out there. Mm-hmm. We have several manufacturers, several industries out there in that park, and so I know they're very happy and pleased to see the progress, as well as our own recreational park with Eco Park out there. So We got a lot of good mileage out of that first round. But let's talk about the second round now. We have roughly $680,000 that we're looking at putting in to the second round of paving this year. And I know folks have seen the closures on Jackson Street. Mm-hmm. And I just a few minutes ago went down Jackson Street and saw where our crews have been working. It looks like there might have been a culvert or a tile that was put in, and some fresh pavement over that. There's been some cuts. There's been some, and I think we'll be looking at some milling on that section. Jackson, of course, was cut through, and we got a lot of complaints from folks about the condition of that street as it was used as a cut through while construction was happening on Highway 30. Now Highway 30 is open, and we're going to be paving Jackson Street to bring it back up to the standard that our citizens expect on their city streets. So let's get into talking about the second round of paving this year. Look at our timeline, and I know you have some slides that we'll pull up to actually show folks what streets we're looking at getting paved in this second round. And folks, if you're not aware, there is an absolute science behind what gets paved when. It's not by happenstance. It doesn't matter who lives there or works on that street. There are certain indices that our folks use, and all the streets are graded, and based on that grade, we're able to select the streets that need and would benefit the most from the paving at this time. And it doesn't exactly mean that they look the worst or they're the most rutted, but it ends up saving a lot of time and a lot of money down the road if we're able to get these streets repaved using this science. So tell us about this second round of paving, Ben.
So we'll just kind of go through the slides that we got set up here, street by street, and kind of talk about it. So the first one that we've got up on the board for you there, I believe, is Belmont, and that is a fairly short segment there that we're going to be doing. That's going to be pretty much from 305 to the end, terminating, and that's a residential area, but it is in pretty substantial need of repairs. So that'll be one of our streets that we've got on this round of paving. The next cluster that we've got, if we want to move to that one, got a few more streets, and folks, of course, the one that you had alluded to that people are probably expecting more than anything here is, of course, South Jackson, which has seen a lot of abuse because obviously the project on 30 has been going on for some time, and a lot of people using that to sort of circumvent the construction. So South Jackson will be getting repaired and getting paved as well. We've got Elizabeth Street, which we're going to be doing as part of this as well. Also Douglas Street, and we will also be doing Church Street on top of that. And I think that, I believe, makes up everybody that we've got in this particular cluster here. And a couple of these that folks would probably be interested to know, they're kind of strange the way that we've actually got Elizabeth Street with that little itty bitty section like that. And there is a reason for that, and we had kind of alluded to just a minute ago with our surface transportation money that we have, the STP money. We will be doing the rest of Elizabeth, probably going to be early spring 2021. So rather than having part of Elizabeth done, we're doing this section now, then the whole thing will be finished hopefully early in 2021 if we can get everything approved and good to go with the state. So some pretty big ticket items there. I think folks will really appreciate that. Our next cluster of streets that we're going to be doing are, again, some more residential neighborhood streets. That includes Tennell and Shell Street, which is, they basically adjoin, but that's a smaller little area there that stubs right off of Central. Central is another one of our streets that we will actually be paving with the block grant money. So that's, again, probably going to be early 2021, and that'll be paved all the way from pretty much Sunset all the way up to Slack Road. So that'll be a big one. and also Cherry Street, which is again not a very highly traveled road, but it is in substantial need of repairs. And that is another one that we are trying to coordinate with McMinn County Highway to look at doing some work, as that's kind of look at the way that the city limits actually land right there. We both share a little piece of that. So we're working with Dan Evans and his folks to try to get that fixed up and get it back into good shape. Moving on to our next group of streets, which is actually, in this particular one, is just one here, but Sweetfield Valley. Sweetfield Valley, actually, we've been doing a lot of work on since I've been here. The whole length of it is in need. But of course, right now, we're wanting to tackle a segment where we've spent a pretty good chunk of time over the past couple of years doing some repairs, and this is to extend essentially from Old West Madison to the city limits is what we're going to be doing on this first round. So this will essentially come right off there and terminate right there, just as you're starting to go around that real sharp curve that folks probably know as soon as you say that sharp curve there on Sweetfield Valley. We'll look at tackling Sweetfield Valley in and of itself, the entirety, a little further down the road here. We're actually, we just put a press release out today for Sweetfield Valley. We had an issue pop up on us, and so we'll be working next week to try to get it repaired. So a lot in the pipeline for it. And our next group that we've got, and a couple big streets here, of course, again, Cleveland Avenue sees a lot of use. That's a very pretty highly trafficked street. I think folks will really appreciate it getting paved pretty much, one end to the other. We are also going to be doing, again, kind of a little strange thing here. We're going to be paving West Side, and just a little piece of West Side. We're going to be paving the portion that just runs from Cleveland to 305, because again, next year we'll be doing pretty much all the way from Fry to tie into this. So that'll be part of the STBG paving. So that will have West Side in its entirety completely paved. Velma Road, we are working with the county. We'll be paving and hopefully get the entire length of Velma done, both including the city portions as well as the county portion that's under the highway commissioner's oversight. And then the last one we've got is Million Street. We'll be paving Million all the way to tie in from 11 all the way to city limits. And yeah, we've got a lot going on. All that together, we're looking a little over 600,000 with some contingency built in. We've tried to prepare as best we can by coring all these streets. We do pretty rigorous, tests and inspections on them so that we know what we're getting into before we do anything.
Yep.
That way we're not spending money where we don't need to, and make sure that we're not being short-sighted either and having something that's not going to last. So that's all the 2020 paving, or well, we'll say 2020 paving.
Yeah, I know folks will be excited to see those streets getting resurfaced. And it's important, I know, for the folks that live in those areas that use those streets daily to see that. But we wanted to make sure that we go ahead and we handle the press releases, and right here on the city's Facebook page that we'll keep folks updated when we move into those areas. So you're not interrupted in your daily travel as we are repairing those streets. But our city streets are typically slated to last 20 to 25 years whenever we do the paving, and that's kind of the life cycle that we're on with these streets. And I know there's times that the city may not have the revenues to do what they need to do, but it has been incredible that this one fiscal year we're able to get 2 rounds of paving done. And then now looking to next year is to be able to take advantage of the state money to do a 3rd round in a very short period of time.
Yep.
And so that's being wise and prudent and rehabilitating the friendly city. I appreciate all the work that you put into it. I know it's a lot of hard hours. It's a lot of work that Ben is an engineer and it dives down into it and enjoys seeing that these projects happen in the most efficient way possible. So I appreciate all your work, Ben.
Yep, our people have done a fantastic job. We're ready to do it.
Wonderful. I have a few other announcements before we sign off for this week. It is good to be back with you after a little bit of a reprieve. I do want to stress that COVID-19, the basis for our daily updates for those 60 days is still a threat to each and every one of us. If you have not been tested, there are tests available. There are 2 testing sites here in McMinn County. AFC Urgent Care actually has the tests as well. They're a local provider, a private provider, and so they have tests available 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and they also have availability on Saturdays. So check with them if you have interest. Otherwise, the McMinn Health Department also has free testing for COVID-19 still. So if you have not been tested and that is your wish, you can go to the McMinn Health Department, and that is 9 a.m. until noon, Monday through Friday, that you can receive that free test from the health department. Other than that, the biggest thing that we can continue to do is social distancing. We know that has worked to slow the spread of this pandemic. Continue to wash your hands, wear your face mask to protect the health of other people when you're out among other people. And we are looking at, I know the governor is continuing to see that the state can be reopened in different ways. And some of the things that we've talked about is being able to come together and celebrate once we are a little bit past this pandemic and a little bit more comfortable with being around other people right now. And so one of those ways is going to be the 4th of July fireworks for the City of Athens. We have folks that drive in from all over McMinn County and the Southeast Tennessee region to see those incredible fireworks that are shot at Athens Regional Park. We are making that call on June 1st. So be watching us, and we will we'll update right here on the Facebook page whether we will have the July 4th fireworks or not. We will be making that call on June 1st. That is the last possible date that we can let our firework provider know whether we're going to be using those fireworks or not. We're going to do everything we can to have those. I think that would be a wonderful celebration for Independence Day. And so there may even be changes if we're able to do it. We might have to keep the park closed. We might have to have other precautions. We just don't know those things yet. So as we're able to make the best call to continue to protect public health, but hopefully be able to celebrate Independence Day in the historical style of the Friendly City with those beautiful fireworks. So we will keep you updated on that. We are also working with a private citizen who is putting together a parade for McMinn County High School graduating seniors on June 6th. It will be downtown. We have to urge that everyone continues to exercise social distancing. Make sure that you're staying at least 6 feet apart if you line up to watch the parade and celebrate these seniors and all that they've achieved in their scholastic career. But we do want to urge that everyone is safe if we're able to have that parade go through downtown. Everybody keep that social distance, but let's celebrate those folks. They have done a tremendous job, and to be handed a pandemic where they can't be with their best friends in the world as they're graduating high school, all those years together, all those great memories. So we certainly want to turn out and celebrate those seniors. So that will be June 6th, and that route will be much like the Christmas parade through downtown Athens. And we're working with those entities to make sure that hopefully everything goes well and we can have that parade on June 6th. I mentioned COVID-19, and I know you still want to keep up with that daily. There are resources here locally for folks in need, or if you want to help our neighbors in need, how do you do that? It's all listed on friendlycityforward.com. I own a business. What do I need to be paying attention to? What do I need to do to keep my staff and my customers safe and healthy? There's resources for that. There's the data that we shared through the daily updates. It is provided on that webpage. And so please feel free to go to that free webpage, friendlycityforward.com, to find the latest and best information that you were previously receiving from me through these updates. It is now in a one-stop shop webpage that's available 24/7 to you. So please utilize that, look at it daily, and keep with those updates. And that is a good resource to you that our Athens recovery team put together for you. And so thank you for that team and all the work that they've put in. Just good citizens doing the good work to take care of their neighbors. And that's what we're all about in the Friendly City. This Saturday at 10 a.m., you'll see links just below this video in other posts. There is an event online on Zoom for you and everyone, every Athenian, to come together for Civic Saturday. If you've not attended one of these events in person over the last year, this is a way to attend from the comfort of your pajamas in your home at 10 a.m. Saturday. And so follow that link in the post below this one here on the Friendly Cities webpage. I'm sorry, not webpage, Facebook page, and log in and check it out. It is Civic Saturday it's a civic sermon. It is church for civil-minded people, where we can all, as Athenians, come together and celebrate our community. It's nonpartisan, but it is built just like a church service. And so I think you'll get a big joy out of communicating and seeing some of the conversation that's going to be held on Civic Saturday tomorrow at 10 a.m. Just go to that post and click and follow to go to the links on Zoom for us to be able to do that. We have a few Friendly City team members that we're celebrating and also lifting up during this time. Mr. David Newman has been a firefighter for the City of Athens for 43 years, and he will be retiring. And so we want to thank David for his service to the Friendly City of protecting our friends and guests for over 43 years in the fire service. Congratulations on a well-deserved retirement, David. We do have two Team Athens members that have been called up to serve in the military. We have Mr. Josh Fulbright, who is a firefighter with the 134th up at McGee-Tyson. And also he is a firefighter here at Team Athens. And he has been called up and will be leaving for active duty in a few days, actually. And we also have Joel Church, who's in the sanitation department at Public Works, that has been called up, and he's already out serving and has been for a month, maybe 2 months now.
He got called and then had to sit around and wait. They wouldn't let him leave, so he was held in hostage for a little while.
Okay,
he's gone now though.
So and he is serving. Josh Fulbright is in the Air National Guard, and Joel Church in the Army National Guard, and he is out in active duty right now, protecting our freedoms. Thank you, gentlemen, for all that you do for the City of Athens and to protect the rights and freedoms of people everywhere. Thank you for your service. We also have a celebration with our technology manager, Mr. Stephen Croft. Stephen, just a few weeks ago, went through an intensive training course. We always want to keep everyone as sharp as possible and as current as possible so that we can better serve our citizens. And he obtained the IT Management and Leadership Professional certification just a few weeks ago. So proud of you, Stephen. Great job. I know that will come in handy in the near future as we continue to look to better utilize technology in serving our people. Last two announcements that I have are, one, the City Council will have a called meeting this coming Wednesday at 10 a.m. And in that called meeting, they will be discussing the first reading of the Athens City budget. The most important item that our council handles annually is the budget, of course. And so we have to have two readings. There is the first reading, and then then in June at the regular council meeting, we will have the second reading and the public hearing on that budget. So staff is working diligently to make sure that that is packaged appropriately and that we are ready on Wednesday for our city council to have a good discussion and hopefully move the budget forward in whatever way that they wish. And so that meeting is open to the public, and it will be streamed right here on our Facebook page, but it is 10 a.m. Wednesday if anyone is interested. And then my last announcement, of course, comes with the holiday Monday, Memorial Day. We're celebrating two active duty team members here in this video, and we really like to see that level of service and commitment to our nation, to our state, to our community in our team members. And there are certainly those of ours, our friends, our family that we have lost in battles, in wars, and in service to the United States military. Monday, we will be honoring our heroes. And so City Hall, city offices will be closed so that we may be with our family and celebrate those heroes that have made the ultimate sacrifice for you and for me. Our heroes who have lost their lives for our freedoms, for our rights. That's what Memorial Day is about. And we're going to be taking some time Monday, and I hope you all will, to honor those people and what they have given. They gave everything so that we could enjoy life in the greatest nation on earth, here in the United States. I thank their families. I thank their families for all that you've endured in their absence. So let's honor those people appropriately Monday. May God bless you. May God bless Athens.